Well, good morning, everybody. Today is July 8th, and we're just in the final stages of getting packed up and getting ready to get back on trail here today. We actually had a pretty good campsite last night. It was very private. We were probably 50 yards off the trail where nobody could see us when they walked by. But best of all, as you can see, we're surrounded by thick trees. So we weren't woken up at 5:30 in the morning by the rising sun raising the temperature in the tent to 100 degrees like typically happens whenever we camp in an exposed spot. So we actually got to sleep in a little bit later this morning, which means we're refreshed, charged up, and ready to hit the trail. So hoping to make about 12 miles today, but we'll have to see how it goes. Maybe a little bit further if we're lucky. Well, just in case you were wondering, yes, this actually is the trail right here. Boy, pretty sketchy hiking for a backpacker. I almost need to tie a rope to Goldilocks so that with two of us, so if somebody falls down the mountain, we won't die. More likely though, we're just gonna torque an ankle or a knee or something in this nasty stuff. Ugh. I should probably put the camera away before that's exactly what happens to me. Check out this giant rock out here at the edge of the meadow. It's like a spaceship landed there or something. Freaking huge. Just walking along this beautiful meadow here, daydreaming about various things, and had a funny thought. So backpackers, and especially thru hikers, tend to be obsessive about their gear. I'm sure most of the people watching this right now can totally relate to that. Think about how much time you spend online watching YouTube videos where people are evaluating new pieces of gear, or looking at websites dedicated to evaluating all the new products or the old products and comparing them. And heck, a lot of thru hikers, and that includes me and Goldie, will do a pre-hike gear lists where we go into exquisite detail about every single piece of equipment we're bringing with us on our hike, and how much it weighs and how much it costs, and blah 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 blah. And probably the stuff you have right now, you're constantly thinking, geez, do I need a new backpack? Do I need a new quilt? Do I need new shoes? You know, what's the latest? What's the greatest? What's the lightest? The ultra lightest. So since that's stuff that we do when we're back home and not on the trail, you would assume that hikers on the trail that would be a central topic of their conversation, is their gear. Who's got what gear? How do they like it? And stuff like that. But in my experience, no, nobody talks about gear out here on the trail. It's really funny. I haven't had one single person ask me, hey, how do you like those Lecky trekking poles? Or how about those Solomon shoes that you're wearing? Or is that Catabatic quilt of yours really warm? Nobody asked that. Literally the only piece of equipment I have that ever gets any comments at all is my kilt, my hiking kilt. And I think that's obvious. I mean, it's kind of a unique thing, and most people aren't used to seeing it. But other than that, the only thing I can think of is that once you're out here on a hike like this, the gear you got is the gear you got. So you're not really obsessed with trying to figure out if somebody else has something better or lighter or whatever. You just sort of, deal with your gear. Honestly, the only thing hikers really talk about amongst each other is where are you going, where you been, who else have you met on the trail, where's the next campsite, and then food. Of course, hikers always talk about food, especially when it's you know, you're going to get off trail somewhere and you talk about where you can go get a great meal. But just another random thought I thought I'd share with some of you guys that are sitting home watching this and wondering about what hikers think about. Hiking down through a section of the trail right now where this must have been a real nightmare for the trail maintenance crews, because look at the size of some of these logs they've had to cut out of the way of the trail. I mean, I'm not sure what accounts for all these trees being down in this right here. Whether there was some kind of a giant ass windstorm or a avalanche, I don't know, but a lot of these are big trees, and well, I tell you what, if these trail crews hadn't cut these things out of the way, this would be just about impassable. So hats off to those guys, man. They got a hard job. Okay, here's home sweet home for tonight. Nice little tent site right here. Walk over here 50 feet, nice little creek. It's only 5 o'clock in the evening, so we've got plenty of time to relax before dark, get a good night's rest, and then we'll get up in the morning and take on, what's the pass in front of us? Benson Pass. All right, I was just sitting here in camp while Goldilocks is off fishing and trying to work on my videos, and saw somebody come walking up the trail, and I turned around and said hi to him, and he gave me a kind of a cautious look and said, "Hey, you're Roadkill, right?" And sure enough, it was
I'm Chipaway.
You're Chipaway, and look who's standing right next to Chipaway.
Hey,
Yin Yang. Remember him from the Nicely's restaurant,
Lee Vining, right?
Nicely's restaurant in Lee Vining. He had told us he was going to come out here on the trail with his uncle, and sure enough, I mean, here they are.
And we're excited to see Roadkill here. Been following all of his videos, and it's a pleasure meeting you, man. You know,
well, absolutely. I'm really glad you guys are enjoying it, the videos, and I'm really glad to get a chance to meet you in person. There's a lot of people out there that like to watch the videos, leave comments, but very rarely do I actually get to meet them in person and shake their hands and thank them for supporting my channel.
I felt like we had trail royalty here.
Oh, please.
For sure.
But it is really funny how I was just telling them, I think we've only seen 2 other hikers today. We're kind of in between Tuolumne and Selden Pass right now. Is that right, Selden Pass? Sonora Pass. Sonora Pass. I'm sorry.
Benson Pass.
Benson. Well, yeah, anyway.
We're another effing pass.
We're in the middle of nowhere, and what are the odds that I see that I run into these guys out here? So it's a really small world, but it's really good to see them.
Small world.
And they've seen some other hikers that I've known over the trails, and they were telling me about their encounters with them. So that's always kind of fun for me to hear about what's going on with other people that I've lost contact with. So,
right.
Anyway, so thanks again, you guys. Great to see you.
Pleasure. Thank you.
They're going to set up camp right up.
And we thank you for everything you do, because I know it's not easy what you do every night, sitting there laboring over these videos. And for our pleasure. Just the other night, I was at home laying on my couch watching your videos. You know?
Okay.
So,
that's, believe me, that's all I want.
Awesome.
I don't need anything other than just thanks. So, all right. Very cool. Thanks, guys. Good morning, everybody. Today is July 9th, which I found to be kind of a shock. The summer is just flying by. Seems like every day passes by quicker and quicker. But we still have a lot of summer left to go and a lot of miles left to hike. So we just came up to a little creek crossing here, Let me see if I can film Goldilocks. And there she goes. She was just lamenting that she had put on dry socks this morning, but then within a quarter of a mile knew that she was going to be wading through the water. No problem. Now it's my turn, and I'm going to try and keep my feet dry, so I'm going to have to put my camera away because this might get ugly. Hey, and would you look at that? Perfectly dry. All right, right across those rocks. Well, today's trail is going to be a little bit rougher than it has been the past few days. We've been blessed with actually some pretty smooth, easy walking for the most part. But today we have two passes to climb. One little short one that I can't remember the name of, surprise. But then at the end of the day we have Benson Pass. And let's see, I got some signs right in front of me here. Let me see if I can show you what it says. Okay, Matterhorn with no mileage marker, so I'm not sure what that means. Oh, Matterhorn Canyon, I'm sorry. Matterhorn Canyon is 5.8 miles and Benson Lake 16.9. As much as we'd like to make Benson Lake, I think that might be a pretty long stretch for us, especially after climbing Benson Pass. So we're just gonna hike and see where we end up today. Well, sitting here in the shade, taking a well-deserved break after that long, steep climb. I guess this pass we just climbed didn't have a name, but it should have, because it was steeper than some of the named passes we climbed. Lots of switchbacks and steep. So, but we're about a mile and a half now from, is it Milder Lake?
Yeah.
Milder Lake, which is going to be our lunch break. So catch our breath here and then head downhill. Well, we made it up that steep climb. It was a bitch. And now we're resting beside the shore of a beautiful lake here, Milder Lake. There's another pair of thru hikers a little bit further down the beach from us there. A couple from Madison, Wisconsin. But here's the lake. Check that out. Beautiful blue. So I'm gonna go wade out there and cool my feet and maybe splash some water over my sweaty body, and then we're gonna have lunch. I'm gonna share something with you guys out there in TV land. That's kind of a point of concern for me, and not sure what I'm gonna do about it yet. But for several weeks now, both Goldilocks and I have just been feeling increasingly fatigued, sore, losing motivation. It just seems like it's harder and harder to get out of camp in the morning. You know, we're getting out later and later, and as we're hiking, we're having to take more and more breaks. We take our lunch break, it oftentimes turns into a couple of hours. Boy, climbing up steep hills like the one we climbed up a little while ago, that was a bear. I mean, it was probably a good mile, lots of switchbacks, but boy, that just sucked the life out of me. When I got to the top of that hill, I didn't think I could take another step. So, I mean, I don't know if it's just the accumulation of so many miles that my body is just breaking down little by little by little and not recovering. Probably a lot of it's our nutrition isn't as good as it should be for the amount of effort we're putting out. And I imagine some of it's probably just hiking hard at high altitude. You know, where anywhere from 8 to 10,000 feet, oftentimes over 10,000 feet. But yeah, I'm finding myself just tired all the time, and You know, we're trying to make good miles, you know, at least 10 to 12 miles a day, at least. But the past 3 days, we've been doing more like 8 miles a day. And after 8 miles, we're just wiped out. And I think it's going to be that way today too. We've got Benson Pass in front of us, which is a pretty good climb. And when we reach it, we will have already walked about 7.5 miles from our camp. So, you know, we wanted to get over Benson Pass and camp on the other side, but tired as I am now, boy, there's no way we're going to make it up over the top of that pass today. We're going to have to camp early, try it in the morning. But, anyway, I need to figure out what's going on because I've still got a long, long way to go before we reach Canada. And it's gotta, something's gotta change.